I found an unusual metal object on the underside of the driver's side of my 2014 Ford Fusion. Although I have owned the vehicle for 4 years, I only recently became aware of its presence. It is possible that I overlooked it all this time, or it may have been added by someone else, as it appears to be a metal plate with a pipe attached. I haven't noticed it on other Fusions when I try to glance at the bottom without looking suspicious. Any idea what this is made for? The mechanic forgot it when he fixed your car. It's part of a lift. I found a metal object affixed to the counter in an old house in Michigan, which is marked with J5. The crank can be turned manually, but its purpose remains unclear. I attempted to search for it using Google Images, but did not find any results. Any ideas what this thing is? It's can opener. I found a metal object in Durham, North Carolina. It appears to be quite sturdy, resembling hammered metal, and is approximately the size of a hand. There are no movable parts, and it is secured to the ground, likely with concrete or a similar material beneath the dirt. It looks old, but I have no clue as to what it is. Any ideas? This is a base of one of those little things you ride on in the park, like a big duck or something. That coil around the outside is the old spring, and you can see where they used a grinder to cut it off flush, so it's definitely a sprung riding toy. This item belonged to my friend, who was a math teacher and college professor from the early 1960s until around the 2010s. It is made of black metal, measuring about 4 inches in length and 1¼ inches in diameter, with a heavy base. I suspect it might be a projector since it has a bulb and lens, but I'm unsure how it would display anything. When I unscrewed the end, a peculiar bulb came out. My knowledge of electricity is very limited. Just flip the switch and electricity is dangerous. The item can tilt on its stand, but there are no markings on the base. I also recently discovered that the lens is a rich blue color. During his time at the Science College, he experienced at least one move to a new building, which involved discarding items from the labs. I attempted a Google search using the brand name Tory, but I couldn't find anything similar. The item could easily be older than the 1960s, as the owner was born in the 1930s in Wisconsin. He worked with summer camps and had a diverse career, primarily as an instructor. Since he was likely an only child, he may have inherited items that are even older. Any ideas? It is a microscope lamp from the 1950s that features a blue filter, which can be removed for regular lighting. This object is approximately the height and width of a pop can, though it is slightly taller. It is very lightweight, even lighter than a cell phone. The top section features holes, indicating that it is not a sealed lid. The object can be disassembled into 3 pieces, and the largest yellow component appears to be designed for filling with a mixture of water and vinegar, as suggested by the words printed on the back. Any ideas what this thing is? This is an angry mama, used for cleaning microwaves. Take her hair off and fill the first line with vinegar, then water. She's microwaved for a few minutes, and the steam that is released through her head holes help loosen dried-on crud inside of the microwave. I found a small swiveling hook on a loop that securely snaps into place in both the open and closed positions. It is constructed from metal. While the tip of the hook is not sharp, there is a possibility that something else was previously attached to it and has since broken off, as the surface appears uneven. Anyone know what this is? It's a folding button hook for old-time women's shoes. I found several glass tubes filled with a brown gas in a school science lab. Each tube is approximately 18 inches long. What could it be? Bromine ampules are typically utilized for storing liquid bromine. They contain a type of nitrogen oxide that serves as a learning aid. By placing one end in ice, the substance condenses. It's important to handle them with great care. While it's not the most dangerous situation, You definitely want to avoid inhaling any fumes if the glass tube breaks. A mysterious rock or fossil that has been in my family since my great-great-great-uncle unearthed it while farming. It was originally much larger, but my family used it as a doorstop for many years, which caused it to lose some of its mass. The exterior features smooth, honeycomb-like structures, while the interior reveals crystalline formations. I believe it may be a type of mineral formation. My grandfather took it to Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches for examination, but the staff were unable to identify it. They suggested sending it for further testing, but my grandfather, being somewhat paranoid, chose not to trust them with it. Anyone know what this is? This is almost certainly the remains of gypsum-filled mud cracks, a gypsum cast or mold. Gypsum-filled mud cracks are well known by geologists and found in ancient evaporate lake depots, but it's rare to see one weathered out like this specimen. My mother purchased it for me at a thrift store, along with a silicone bread baking mat. It is a medium-sized item featuring a wooden handle and a bent metal end, and it is relatively lightweight. Anyone know what this is? It is a Danish dough whisk, commonly utilized for mixing bread dough and highly favored within the sourdough bread community. During a renovation in 2019, I discovered a metal object measuring approximately 10 inches in a barn in Michigan that was originally constructed in the 1870s. The bottom blade is designed to pivot, while the top blade can slide vertically. Any idea what this is made for? This is can opener. The spear point on this can and bottle opener was utilized to puncture and open a can, while the other end opened bottles by flipping off the bottle caps. Most of the cast iron can and bottle openers with a comparable simple form and design date from the late 1800s to the very early 1900s. Although an exact date for this opener could not be determined, it is very possible that it too dates from the late 1800s or the early 20th century. I found a decorative piece resembling a 20-inch iron-wheeled plow at an Irish restaurant. Even if it is a small plow, could it serve merely as decoration, or might it have been used in the past? How would it function compared to a full-size version, considering it is just a small replica? I have searched for terms such as toy plow, toy metal plow, and small metal plow, but have not found any relevant results. Any ideas? It is a component of a cultivator, which can be either manually operated or drawn by a pony.